Today we're going to be looking at Lunar Tides in the color Slate Gray. Lunar Tides did recently come out with pouches instead of the jar, but the colors should be the same, just the packaging would be different. Now, you may notice that my swatches are labeled 1 through 12. That is not supposed to be synonymous with hair levels. I just number the swatches to help us keep track of each swatch throughout the video. 1 is green, 2 is a dyed cool tone gray, 3 is a medium to dark natural red, 4 is black, and then 4 to 11 is a range that goes to platinum blonde, and then 12 is going to be like a toned version of number 11. So I'm going to take the color directly from the container and I will apply it to the very top of each swatch. And some people do like to dilute their color, so I will do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. Please keep in mind everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair can take color differently. So please just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly maybe turn out for you. For the diluted section, we are doing a 4:1 ratio. So that's going to be 1 part of the color to 4 parts diluter. If you're wondering what diluter is, my simple answer is that it is something that will lighten the color of your semi-permanent dye. Some brands do make diluters, and those will be in the same consistency as the brand as a whole. But because I do so many different colors and not every brand makes a diluter, I just use a plain white conditioner as my diluter. I'm gonna let this sit for an hour. I will then rinse it out, and when they are dry, I'll meet you back here and we can do some comparisons. Just so we're all on the same page, I just want to mention that my swatches are not virgin hair. This means that they've been chemically colored, treated, or bleached at some point in their lifetime. That also means my swatches may absorb color a little bit better than your hair, especially if your hair is virgin. So I would categorize Slate Gray as a very dark, cool, undertoned gray. It has sort of like a blue tone, which is really interesting because straight out of the container, even just applying it to the swatches in the beginning, it looks very purple in undertone, but it takes more blue on the swatches. And I'm wondering if maybe the purple is to help cancel out any of the yellow tones in the hair, which can be especially good for blonde. So I usually try to do a 4:1 ratio unless the color is too light, just so I have like a general understanding of how pigmented a color is. And this lightened up quite fast, which tells me it's not super duper pigmented. So even though it took on pretty much all of my swatches, I think lighter hair would probably be better for this if you're going for a direct gray. I think on some of the darker swatches, I actually do see a little bit of that natural color coming through still. So using a gray like this could actually be good to cool down a color if you think your hair is too warm in undertone. Maybe even diluting this just a little bit so that it's not a dark gray. I don't know. No matter what you want to do, I always recommend a strand test so you know what you're getting into. Do you need to tone your hair for this? I don't think you need to, but I do think the yellow in the hair did actually make this look a little bit more blue. On the tone swatch coming up, it just leans slightly more neutral, but because this is a darker gray, I don't think it's necessary unless, again, you do a strand test and it like completely doesn't work. I do think the more yellow in the hair, the more likely it's going to lean on that bluish side. If your hair is super yellow, it could possibly even lean a tiny bit green, but don't quote me on that. I don't have a super yellow swatch currently. In the future, I could definitely do a cover-up video and have yellow as one of the swatches to see what it looks like, if anyone is interested. Now, as for comparisons, we're going to start with Overtone in the color Vibrant Silver. This one is a little bit more neutral in undertone and a little bit lighter, but the reason I picked it is because a lot of my grays are actually super light in comparison to the slate gray. This was one of my darker grays, and slate gray, again, is still much darker. I did consider comparing Arctic Fox in the color Sterling. That one was also very neutral and lighter, but is even more neutral compared to the Overtone, as well as Manic Panic in the color Alien Gray, lighter and more neutral. The next comparison I wanted to look at is Lime Crime in the color Gargoyle. Now, I haven't checked back in a while, but as far as I'm aware, they had two different grays. The Gargoyle is a little bit more cool in undertone, which is why I picked it, and it's probably my most similar comparison, but it is still lighter than the Slate Gray. So Slate Gray is unique to my personal collection. The only other one I considered looking at was Manic Panic in the color Blue Steel. I really liked the undertone of that compared to the Slate Gray, but it was incredibly light in comparison, so it did not make the cut today. So if you need a silver that's a little bit darker than what I've already done on my channel, the Slate Gray would be a really good option. I think it would probably cover a little bit more than most of my grays as well. I hope my video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do brands that do not test on animals. Thank you so very, very, very much to my patrons, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.